This morning, I've just sent a letter to the new Minister of Digital Media, Culture and Sport. Her name is Lucy Fraser. I thought I would tell you exactly what's in the letter, and if you get an opportunity also to write to her, I will be delighted. Congratulations, I'm saying. Congratulations on your appointment today. I'm writing to request a meeting to personally discuss a way forward for reality TV. I appreciate the pressures on your time, particularly as you take up this new and exciting responsibility, but I hope you can find a small gap in your schedule. I've written to the previous ministers, and I have recently received another tardy, albeit charming, response from a junior minister advising me once more to contact Ofcom. I am so grateful to Miss Lopez that she expresses concerns about my health, but I'm afraid Ofcom directs me back to your ministry, and so, no matter what I am instructed, I find myself in an endless and very frustrating circle. It is easy to believe that this issue is not taken seriously. I am keen, however, to move forward. I believe I'm one of the few participants of reality TV to be both vocally concerned and also a winner. I hope this gives me credibility, just as it puts me in an unusual position where what I have experienced myself and what I have personally witnessed and been told makes it difficult to stay silent. I've been approached regularly for guidance about this subject, both academically and by journalists. The current guidelines managed by Ofcom focus on a conclusion much peddled by the reality TV industry and repeated in the media that, as the aftermath of reality TV is stressful, participants may benefit from psychological support as they adjust to ordinary life, with or without the fame brought by exposure on TV. My experience and observation is that there is a much more concerning issue of the potential for manipulation by the production company, now even easier under the Ofcom guidance, where the production company takes direct responsibility and pays for aftercare. I believe reality TV is a medium that offers people the chance to directly engage with television. I believe it's popular and entertaining. It's also cheap. I was approached to be a performer on a Channel 4 show called The Circle. I won the viewer's favourite vote. Before this show, I knew nothing about reality TV, and since then, I have met other performers and watched a great variety of different shows in different countries. I am alarmed by what I've seen, and I believe we in Britain can lead the way towards the creation of a safer format. I believe this is not about psychiatry, but about independent professional support. You will recall that while regulations were drawn up for Ofcom following the abandonment of a DCMS committee meeting set up to examine the Love Island and Jeremy Kyle scandals, these regulations have in fact cemented existing practice. I'm not surprised, as the majority of witnesses who testified to the DCMS committee were production and not performers. There are stories of the abuse not only of performers but of runners and crew who are engaged on poor terms and with little or no protection. There are stories of bullying, even after the Ofcom regulations came into force. This issue cannot be sorted out by directing me to talk again to Ofcom. The regulations, as they have been drawn up after a truncated DCMS committee meeting hearing, give production companies alarming control over performers during and well after the close of any filming. I believe this is open to abuse. In addition, there is no independent support for such performers should the system, as it is now set up, fail. Indeed, as my participation in this medium took place before these regulations came into effect, there is no body to take up my personal concerns, as Ofcom have pointed out. I've drawn up proposals for a revised code, and I hope this will ensure that production companies can focus on production and that institutions already set up to help performers can take on added responsibility to ensure that there is proper independent professional support available to anybody who appears for a protracted time on a television reality show. Ofcom confirms that it is the government and your department that must initiate such changes and such discussions. There have been numerous suicides and cases of serious misery and illness. There will be many more. Indeed, the stress that I personally experienced for about 18 months and documented in a piece I wrote for the Independent newspaper, and indeed the manipulation that I believe took place after my time on the circle and was followed by diagnosis of a T3 tumour, which proved to be about 18 months old. I had timely surgery, and I believe I've had a lucky escape. I am writing to you over a year since I was first diagnosed. Since then, your ministers have repeatedly told me to take up my concerns to Ofcom, and Ofcom in turn have told me repeatedly that my concerns go beyond their remit and it is for the government to make policy decisions and to revise the regulations as they stand. In my case, as in the case of the many reality TV performers I've now talked to directly, it was not about fame or the loss of fame, or indeed about the pressures of social media or any frustration about my edit. I felt instead that after the show, I was both directly and indirectly controlled by the production company and or by their agents. Moreover, when I appealed for help at a very low ebb, and as a consequence of this perceived manipulation, it was not made available to me. In fact, I was left to wait for 10 days. Others also asked for help, which had been clearly promised, and it was not available when they too called the helpline provided by production. It is my belief that production is ill-designed to provide such help and has a record of failure. Without taking this testimony, Ofcom nevertheless now expects production to be responsible for both funding and supervising such help. It is only a matter of time before another high-profile catastrophe. I'm happy to send on any supporting documentation, and I'm also happy to make myself available at any time to see you. And following that, I've signed it and I've sent it off to the new minister. So I'm hoping to get some sort of response. I didn't get much of a response from her predecessors, but let's see what happens with Lucy Fraser, who was previously in the Department of Justice.